just a little decaf coffee since it is a
I
little bit
got
like
decaf today.
yeah. Once it hits about noon, so it's about noon here.
Okay, I'm an hour behind.
Yeah, I try to
That's my cutoff.
go about decaf, or I'll do tea. You know, maybe if
Yep.
I do something like that, I'll do tea.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I just it doesn't even affect me very much. But I just kind of it's kind of my rule, I guess.
Same. I'm the same way. If it was past 12, I wouldn't have poured a cup. But I'm at 10:54 right now, so
Oh, there you go.
we're rocking and rolling. And I'm kind of deloading with my workouts right now, so I don't take pre-workout during the week right now. Just kind of wean off that for a while, and no need to take it during a week where I'm lifting lighter loads, and you know. So I just try to get we adapt to that, right? That's a stimulant that our body gets used to. We adapt to it. We have to take more just to feel it. And so like I always use a deload week to kind of just wean off the caffeine as far as pre-workout's concerned, but coffee's fine.
What do you take for pre workout?
Right now I take the Gorilla Mind.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
Derek
more play.
takes more dates, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's good, dude. It's super clean. It's not like doesn't make me all super jittery. It just makes me focused. It feels, and he has like a pump stim that you can put with it too, and like combo that. And sometimes I do that. But if you just take the pre workout by itself, like that's enough. And I actually take half the serving. I don't even take a full serving.
Mm.
And that's good for me, man. It just gives me just enough to focus, clarity, get a little pump going, and it doesn't give me like all the tingly, jittery, shaky feel or anything like that. So it's perfect. It's just enough, just a little pick me up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I took pre workout. To be honest with you,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, never. I took it for a week one time, and it was back in the days of I forgot what it was like that stuff that was basically illegal.
Jacked.
Jacked, no,
Yeah.
God, it was like a yellow. I think it was a yellow label, like it had yellow on it.
C4 maybe.
C4. It was
Yeah.
like the initial C4 stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made my body tingle, but
Oh, bro.
I ripped it for a week, and I remember that week it was in summer. It was in the summertime, and I was like training for baseball. I was in college, and I remember at that point I was doing sprints, and I don't think you're supposed to necessarily do like a lot of hard cardio on that stuff,
Yeah.
but I
Oh,
would
you're
do.
passed out.
Yeah, well, I know I just like could go forever.
Oh yeah.
I would do like sprint. I'd do like 50-yard sprints on the football field, and then I'd walk back and just go
Yep.
right away. And I
Mm.
remember doing like 20 straight on
Yeah.
the speed floor. But then my skin like felt like it was gonna crawl off my body.
Yeah, yeah, that's the beta alanine, which I've taken that before too, just raw beta alanine, which is great. It helps buffer the lactic acid in your system so that you can continue to perform, which is what it was doing for you. So that's why you can do those repeated bouts, and you can do like high intensity, and that lactic acid doesn't build up so much to where it like inhibits you as if you weren't taking it. So it's a great buffer, and yeah, dude, it feels like you can go forever, huh?
Oh man, it was crazy. It's, that it does work. It's just a little bit. It's a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like this one, dude. You'd like this one for sure, because I don't like. I'm sure it has beta alanine in it, but I think it might be such a small dose that you don't get like the tingly feeling, the crawling in your skin.
Yeah.
If I wanted that, I would just supplement with pure beta alanine, just raw, mix it in like how I used to back in the day. But yeah, I don't think this has. I haven't checked that ingredient, but it's not that kind. It's more of like a focus pre-workout, so it's perfect for what I need it to be. I went years without taking pre-workouts, and then when I reintroduced it, I kind of on the same page as you. Is like I didn't want to make something that when I take it, it's like rocket fuel. It's like I don't need all that. Like I just need something, just a little pick me up, little focus, give me a good pump. And that's exactly what this does. And I take half the dosage too. So, but yeah, every deload week I try to get off of it and then go back on. But yeah, works well. I like it.
What kind do you go with?
Like flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I have one. It's like, remember those popsicle sticks that were like red, white, and blue? I forget what that flavor.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That he has a flavor called that, and that's the one that I have right now. Oh man, I can't remember. I'm looking it up real quick. Uh,
Ah,
Here it is.
it's like a
Bombsicle. It's called Bombsicle. That's the one.
popsicle.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
those are
good,
so good.
dude. It is. It's good. It's really good. And then they have like the other flavors that I've tried. I've tried Jungle Juice. That was good. My buddy tried White Gummy Bear, and he said that was awesome. So if you like White Gummy Bear, I've tried the Volcano Burst one. I haven't had one where the Tiger's Blood was okay. I had that one. It was kind of like not a huge fan. If you like grape, they have a cotton candy grape one. But yeah, man, it's just like this pre-workout has been perfect for what I need it to be. And I'm sure if you went like full on dose and just sent it, they actually just came out with one called, I forget what it's called, but it's like, it's excessive. I think they kind of try to replicate like the feelings that you get with the old C4 and Jack. And I have that one, but I take like a quarter scoop of that one if I'm really dragging. And me and my buddy kind of like put that one here at my house, and he's like, let's just keep it here. We'll split it. And then if we need like an extra pick me up, like we'll send it, like we'll both take it. And we took it once, and I didn't take the full dose, and I felt it. It does give you those extra like feelings of holy shit. Yeah, bro. And for him, I think that night too, he was, and this maybe or maybe not was directly affected to the pre-workout, but he said he was like, felt super nauseous, like super sick later that night. I didn't at all. Like I felt fine. And it could have been related to that. It could have been not. So I think he got kind of scarred from it. He's like, oh, I'm not going to take it anymore. So I basically have like this rocket fuel to myself, which I haven't taken it since either. But it's kind of there if I need it, and just to send it. I used to be huge into pre-workouts, man. I used to take them all the time. And like, to your point, like you I think it was more so closer to college. Like college, I for sure would take them and just rip them with the boys. And you just were like, bro, we're going to send this workout. We still got like alcohol in our system. Then we're throwing pre-workout on top of it. Like, remember at that point, you just no regard for your body. We were just sending it the whole time. Party hard, play hard. But now I'm just like, dude, ain't no way. I'm like, what do I got going later today? Like, do I have to do stuff? Do I have to go in like society and function and like talk to people today? Like that like determines whether I take pre-workout or not. So, and when I do take it, it's just, like I said, it's a half dose where I was just kind of a little pick me up. But yeah, dude, we used to use double, triple scoops. And then once you get so used to it, because you develop this tolerance, like you have to add another scoop on top. So it's just like, bro, now you're taking 3-4 scoops of C4 and you were just sending it. I probably took years off my life, bro, by doing that.
Well, I mean, I think it's like any drug, really, that the more you use it, I mean, it's like coffee, right? Like the more you use coffee, the more you need to actually get like the similar feeling of coffee, right? To the point of where, I don't know if this is you, I don't feel anything with coffee. It's more or less, I just like coffee. I like to drink it. Pre-workout as well. Like, it's like you see people that they're taking like 3 scoops before a workout, like, and they take scoops before everything, right? It's like I've seen people that they're like drinking and they're like, it's like they're hammering pre-workout.
Yeah.
Right? Like
dude, I remember I went to this seminar, this weightlifting seminar, and you go through like all the practical stuff, and then we're doing more of like the classroom type stuff. And then the last portion of the seminar was like, we all go and lift together. And we're like, okay, we're going to practice these principles that we learned. We're going to go in, we're going to coach each other. We're going to get feedback on our coaching, etc. Like, it was full on, like hands on. It was really cool. The last half of the seminar, we started, you start getting a little bit competitive. The juices start flowing. Somebody busted out C4, right? Like somebody had C4 there, and it was just like one of those things where you're in the moment. We're just all dry scooping C4, right? Like just hitting, just pass it around. Like if you didn't take one, like you were a little bitch, So I was like, okay, we're just passing them 2 scoops. Oh no, take another one. So we're hitting them. And then we start lifting, right? And we're like, okay, let's just build up. Let's just build up to a max clean and jerk. Like, all right, it was a power clean. No, you had to hold it in the front rack. So it was definitely a clean and jerk. And I remember like when we were on the tail ends of the sets, I remember standing up from my clean and I was like, holy shit, I barely made the clean, right? And if I keep my fingers crossed and somehow just lightning strikes me and I can hit this jerk, this would be awesome. But I stood up and I'm standing in the front rack position. You ever been in the front rack position? That bar is like on your, it's on the front of your shoulders. So if you guys haven't done that before, if you're off just by a little bit, you have those carotid arteries here. So when I stood up, I remember grinding through the portion of the clean to stand the weight up. And then all I just remember, it kind of like the lights going on. It's kind of like black. And I was like, whoa, I like swayed. I dropped the bar. I fell back. And dude, the lights went out for a second. And I was just like, holy shit. Like I never had that happen before. And I wake up and like people are standing over me. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like I knew I was lifting, but did I make the lift? I didn't even perform the jerk, I guess. Like I guess I just stood up from the clean and I remember kind of getting wobbly and then I just fell back and it was like, holy shit. So that was me overexerting my body on C4, like pushing myself to the limits, bro. And we were, and you're in that environment, like you're going to push balls to the wall. You're going to hit weights you haven't done before. And like, so that was scary, dude. Yeah. So I sat the rest of that one out just hoping nobody else did the same thing as me, and luckily they didn't, but yeah, kind of crazy.
Jeez, dude. Yeah, that is crazy. So that's like that goes to show what like going excessive with pre-workout can do, which is why honestly that's the reason why I haven't really got back into pre-workout at all since college, just because most of the time I don't need any sort of like motivation to get the workout in, or I didn't need like motivation to get to the gym. Honestly, right now, like I might actually buy that Gorilla mode and just
it's awesome. It's
do
great.
A little bit of it just to kind of get myself going, like, and just to make it maybe a little bit easier in the mornings when because like right now, I don't know if you find this, but like during the winter times, it's so much harder to get out of bed because
it's so hard, dude.
Right. So it's difficult to get yourself going in the morning as opposed to the summer when it's 5 a.m. the sun's up. Like it's so much easier to get going. So it's like getting myself to do some workouts in the morning sometimes is like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
On the day.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. I don't know. I just posted this the other day and like I was surprised at how many people engaged with it, but it was on me saying that I didn't feel like working out, right? And I basically told them the steps that I went through to get myself to do it and just kind of put one foot in front of the other, start with your warm up, get some blood flow going, and then finally you kind of get into it, and then it's no longer this huge like hurdle. But man, leading up to just getting to do your workout, I think it's just this time of year, dude, and it's just like one of those things where it's a struggle, man. It is super hard. So if you feel like you're struggling during like regular times, weather's nice, it's not super cold. Imagine when the seasons turn and it gets freezing and staying in bed sounds way better than going and hitting a workout. Like the odds are stacked against you. So I think it's definitely tougher during the winter time for sure, depending on where your climate is and all that stuff. But yeah, man, it was just one of those things where I think it's a real hurdle during the winter. It's definitely tougher. But the cool thing is when you do it and you stick it out and you show up for yourself when the seasons change, right? You kind of have built that compounded interest that we talk about of like, oh yeah, I've done it in less than ideal circumstances when it was colder out, and it was freezing. It took forever to warm my body up. Like I didn't want to get out of bed. Like you proved yourself that you can do it during that time. So when you don't feel like it going forward in the future, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Well, and like if you can think of, I've always tried to do this too. It's like after the workout, you feel so much better.
Yes.
Like you go those days when you go to the gym and you're like, oh, the last thing I want to do. Sometimes what I'll try to do is like think about those times when I've done that. And then it's like you're coming out and you feel like $1 million. Yeah. You're just ready to go. You're energized. Right. And so I think that's a nice thing too, on top of just you mentioned it, like the warm up, like when you get that blood flowing, like it kind of gets that energy going a little bit too. Do some walking, do some like I like to do those like behind the head, like
me too.
The shoulder dislocates, those things. Maybe some jumping jacks, get the body going a little bit. All of a sudden, before you know it, you get that first set in, and you're just rocking and rolling. Dude.
Going. World's Greatest Stretch is one of my favorites. Just long lunge. reach your forearm down, rotate your body, get some hamstring stretching in there while you're in there, and then switch. It's like, that's one of the things, kind of like a full body movement. In addition to what you said, some dislocates or some pass throughs are great. And you just get your body moving, like just doing the basic fundamentals, loosening up. And then you kind of get going a little bit and you're like, oh, okay, like this isn't as bad as I thought it was. Like you start building your own momentum in the process. And then you keep doing one thing that leads to the next. And then before you know it, you're like, dude, I'm 2 sets deep into my first exercise already. Like, let's go. But it's always getting there is this huge barrier sometimes where you feel like you can't overcome it, or it's very easy to choose not to. When I think we drop some gold nuggets there. It's just like, dude, just do the first thing. Like, don't worry about doing and completing the whole workout right now. Don't worry about going in and like, you have to go set PRs. It's like, dude, just do the first thing. Just get in there and accomplish task number one. And I think that's actually just getting there. Or even if you reversed it back up, is like, maybe it's just changing in your workout clothes, right? Like maybe it's just doing that. And when you can kind of drag yourself through those things and then keep proving yourself, the process eventually, I think you get better at doing the thing, right? And so you can look at situations when people are just starting out, or you can remember when you were just starting out, like those, that was like a daunting task. Now it's just kind of, you expect it. It's kind of just normal. You're like, I know some days are going to be like that. They're going to be tougher, and some days are going to be super smooth and really easy. And I'm going to actually like look forward to chomping at the bit to get in there. But you're going to have the days where you just struggle, man. They suck. And it makes those other days that are like phenomenal even that much better, because you faced the dark side. You faced the battle of not feeling like it. You faced the tweaks or injuries, or like the sessions where they just didn't go your way, or like, you know. And so when you have those better days, it makes them that much better. It gives you something to contrast to, because you're like, oh, I've had those shitty days. I've had the days that are kind of a drag. And it really highlights the days that you have good. And oftentimes, I was talking to a client about this. He's like, dude, I felt like that. I saw your post. I felt like that the other day as well. And I think it's just coming off the holidays. He's saying the same thing, time of season. He's like, but dude, I got in there, I started moving, and I set 2 PRs on 2 of my lifts. And I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. Like usually you can kind of pull some of your best training days from the shittiest starts, right? And I don't know if you've experienced that, but I know I have, where I just didn't want to lift, and you get in there and you start going through the motions. You're like, oh man, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. And then now you're in this position where you could just send it. You're like, damn, I didn't know I was going to feel this good. Like, and you don't expect that, you know?
Oh, for sure. It's like, and I always around that. That's why I think that working out first thing in the morning is just like the easiest thing to do.
Game changer.
It might be hard sometimes. Like some of those days, it's hard. You get up, and like the last thing I want to do is go move my body, go work out, go to the gym. But then once you do it, you feel so much better. And if you think about, I'm sure you probably at some point in your life like worked out in the evenings after work. And there's a lot of things that maybe for some people that's the only time they can work out, which keep doing it. But like I found that it's so much harder. You don't have as much energy because it's just you've gone through the whole day. Like mental energy is drained, maybe physical energy is drained. The last thing you want to do after working an 8-hour day is fucking go to the gym. The gyms are packed, right? There's so many more people that are there at that time because everybody goes after work.
Yep.
So you can even move up that workout too. I've always found that it might seem hard some days, but it's a lot harder later in the day, at least for most people, to get that workout.
Oh, it's brutal, man. Yeah. Like I used to traditionally, I was always an afternoon person, 4:30 and beyond, right? Earliest I would ever do would be like 12, 1 o'clock. And, yeah, dude, I was that person that identified as I'm not a morning person. I'll never do that. I just immediately would write myself off as like, oh, I'm not going to be able to lift as good as I was. And I would like point to studies and be like, oh, see, we have higher levels of growth hormone the longer we spend in the sunlight and the further we go throughout the day. So it was like, I was using that to justify why I didn't work out in the morning. And like, I was looking for every little piece of evidence that would like confirm that I didn't have to. And then finally I was like, man, I'm just going to try it. Let me just experiment with this. Let me give it an honest shot. And I've never gone back since. I probably started doing that now like maybe 5 years ago. And I haven't gone back since. But before that, I never worked out in the morning unless I was forced to be there through college and sports and stuff, right? Like we had to be there by a certain time in the morning. But on my own, I was always an afternoon person. Like just religiously. I was like, I'm good. I don't want to get up early. It's too hard. Making all these excuses for myself. But now that I've done it, dude, I don't want to go back. I don't, there'll be occasionally where like I'll be traveling or something, or it'll be like a one-off scenario and I'll lift in the afternoon. But man, if I have the choice, I am going in the morning. I'm doing it first thing when I get up.
Yeah. Well, it's also a consistency thing too.
Yeah.
Generally, you wake up like it's the one time a day that anybody can guarantee if you get up a little bit before your normal time, you're going to be able to get a workout in. You can't always guarantee what's going to come up later in the day. Maybe we have to stay later for work. Maybe an emergency situation happens. Maybe, whatever, like millions of things that could happen or come up later in the day that pushes you away from the workout, let alone it's a lot easier to convince yourself not to do it later in the day. So I think that's a good thing as well. But awesome, dude. Well, this is good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this pre-workouts, workouts, how to get yourself going in the morning, just kind of our catch-up episode. If you did, just make sure you subscribe, follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube for more of these, and share it with somebody you think could benefit. But we appreciate you, and we will be talking to you soon.